just joined us, so now we're good to roll. Alright, so we are on Zoom, we are recording, I don't know if we're live or not tonight on Cable Access TV, but we will be, later broadcast if we're not live. Today is the ARPA meeting, it's March 29th, it's 6:30 p.m. and we have our full committee with us tonight. First item we have is open the meeting, call it to order at 6:34. And then approval of minutes, I'm not ready on either the 27th minutes of January or March 24th yet, that was just Thursday. Haven't had enough time to digest those to do that. Open session, do we have anyone here for items that are not on the agenda? Alright, excellent. Seeing none, moving on, updates, new info related to ARPA funds, we don't have David with us tonight, so I don't think there's any new updates. And into the meat of our evening, meeting with applicants and discussion of the following projects. Do we have Go Green Manufacturing? We do. Can you remind us of your name?
Kellyanne Icaboni.
Kellyanne, alright Kellyanne, so you sent over your finances.
I did.
Alright, did everyone get those? David emailed them and I just stuck them, Mike, cause I was thinking of you right before I left the house, put them in the folder for tonight, in case you wanted to reference them. I believe there were 3 sheets here. It was the 19 to 20, 2021, and 21-22. Susan, would you like me to run a copy on the machine real quick?
That'd be awesome.
If it doesn't require coding, we're in. If it does, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I have a copy too.
That's okay.
So.
No.
Remember when you just lifted the thing and pressed a button
Yep.
before and it came out?
Now you need to agree.
Yeah.
Just to keep the riffraff
I don't
us
even-
from
I don't
making off with all these
No,
copies.
Sometimes my copier is connected to my computer too. Just
I only print from my phone, I can't write
Thank you.
Took me 6 months to figure out that the cheap copier, a printer, is also a copy. I flipped it up and I said, well, this looks like a plaque for a copy.
There's three.
Sure enough.
There's 3 sheets there.
Yep.
Chris, so you want to give all 3 of those to Mike? Because they're 3 different years.
Thanks.
Okay, awesome. So now everyone has hard copies of our reports here. All right.
I have
Susan, do you have any questions?
do.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us these. It was helpful.
You're welcome.
Did you take out any PPP loans?
I did, yes. I was granted, I think 63,000
Okay.
and, used it for payroll. We stayed open throughout the whole pandemic.
Mhm.
And I was able to have it all forgiven as well.
Great.
Yeah.
How about any EIDL loans?
No.
Any SBA loans you didn't
Nope.
take in?
No.
Okay. All right. That's my question.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Give everyone a couple minutes to digest the finances here. Shannon's on Zoom. Nope. Kellyanne, throughout the whole pandemic, do you happen to know what the total amount of your loss was?
I don't know. I would say it's probably, wow, I would say it's probably around 40 or 50,000.
Okay.
I mean, it, I know what I had in the bank, and I know how everything, the prices of everything was just, I couldn't keep up with it, Every time a sales rep would come, they were telling me this was going up more, that was going up more, and
And it looks like on your profit and loss statement for 2020, 2021, it was like 50,781
that was,
in
exactly,
negative.
yep,
And then 21 to 22 current, you're in the positive by about 7,000.
That is correct, yeah, I had another price adjustment at the, at the end of the year, in November, I changed, the price again, and, I actually have to do it once again, which I don't like to do. I don't like to hit people kind of back to back. I like to maybe do once a year. I don't have, I'm not contractually obligated to anyone, fortunately, but it's the toughest conversation to have with someone, when you have to change the price of something. And I try to change it enough so that I don't have to change it, on the heels of, an increase, but unfortunately, my core supplier just told me that they were going up again, and when they tell me, it's like, it's as of next week. They don't give me a month or,
Yeah.
so it, you just go, oh geez. Nobody wants to hear from me. Everybody likes to, email, but when they hear my voice, they're like, oh, here we go. This is gonna be an increase coming.
Gotcha.
But it's tough to keep up with the fuel prices, and it's not good.
Understood. Let's see, Susan, do you have any additional questions? I don't think so. Okay, Mike?
No, I'll just say that the cost of goods sold, oof,
Yeah.
yikes.
Mm-hmm.
KP?
No questions.
Christopher?
Any questions?
Okay. Is there interest by this committee to entertain, putting a motion forward in a particular amount, to Go Green Manufacturing, Inc.?
I have some additional information from the finance committee on other projects, so my suggestion would be that we discuss everything and then vote at the end.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. One of the original purposes of ARPA was to do exactly this type of thing.
Mhm.
So I do have certainly an eye for it. But based upon what we had discussed at the last meeting about the possibility of revisiting one or maybe both of the fire purchases, I think we need to give deference to our original matrix. If that is the case, and if we do in fact choose to pursue that conversation again, I think we need to give the matrix deference, because it's what we've anchored this entire process in.
Alright, so we're hanging 10 for right now, is what I'm hearing. Alright, so that being said, no more questions on this project, so Kellyanne, you're welcome to stay, hang, or go, whatever you like.
Yeah, I'll stay just for a few minutes and for Julie.
You're so sweet. Mine'll be quick.
Alright,
Okay,
so then we
thank you.
have Uptown Diner.
That would be me. So, I, unfortunately, I'm so busy right now. I go see my accountant this weekend.
Okay.
I finally have a day off to go see him. I can email, 2020 profit and loss and the 2021, cause
Okay.
we will be doing my taxes this weekend. I just
Okay.
haven't done my 2021 yet.
Understand. Can you also get a balance sheet
Sure.
for the 2 years?
Yes,
Great.
yep. And then, I mean, if I wasn't able to be here last week due to school classes, but Kelly filled me in a little bit, just about, a new 800,000 coming in later, that is gonna be talked about for this kind of
Yeah,
stuff
so
as well.
she's referring to the second round of
Yep.
funding, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So just, you know, cause I know you guys wanna send all this information over for the next, select board meeting. And I just don't know if me getting everything this weekend is gonna be too late. I
So-
don't know when the next select board meeting even is.
So we have a really quick meeting, select board tomorrow. I believe they
Okay.
set up prior to our school committee select board
Okay.
of the world joint meeting.
Yeah, okay.
But our next regularly scheduled meeting for select board, I believe, is the 11th.
Okay,
So,
okay, so that, cause I was just gonna say, I mean, if it misses, it misses, I can
Yep.
always, you know, wait for the next round or whatever, but,
Okay.
yeah, and I mean, even to say, I was not able to receive, any loans from anything, and no
Okay.
PP, you know, yeah,
Payroll protection.
yeah, none of that, none of the SBA,
Did you apply for them?
I tried, but every time, so like GFA had one, and every time it was, well, you know, you need to call us back for sole proprietor. Every time I call back, oh, well, that money's gone. So I'm like, okay. So I've tried them twice. I tried the PPE loan and PPP loan, and I never heard anything back about that. And you know, I continued with, you know, everything. Continued every bill that I had to pay, and you know, tried to. We had to be closed. I know this was a discussion last week too. I was closed from middle of March to August. I reopened for to go only from about, you know, it was like second week in August, first week in August, to it was October, and then from there I could only have 50% in my diner, and
Right.
I can only sit 32 people without social distancing. So with the social distancing, I think it was like 7 people could be in there at a time.
Right.
So, I mean, as much as we were open, we had a lot to go. It was really great. But, you know, really being open wasn't much. And and you guys will see, you know, when I bring those, email those profit and losses over, and I will get, copies of everything that is on my list. You know, even, can I send like a link, or do you guys want, I can't really like print out like the page, but I've gone on to certain equipment places near us and, you know, checked out their prices and that kind of stuff, because I would go through them. Do you want me to send you a link?
Can you do a screenshot?
Yeah, I can
Just
do that.
attach the screenshots as
Okay.
pictures, and then we'll have more.
Okay, yeah, that works. I can do that.
Cool.
But yeah, again, I can do that all this weekend once I see my accountant and get all that stuff squared away.
Okay, no worries. And we'll have David reach out when we have our next meeting set.
Okay, that works.
Alright. Anything else for Julie for the moment?
No.
Okay, cool. Alright, next we have Economic Development Committee. I do not see Whitney, and she's not online. Nope, no one's there, okay. Alright, so skipping over that, here for you. No one's here for you for here? Okay.
Good thing, cause my hair's really bad.
Alright, Hubbardson COA
hold on.
Seniors.
Hold on.
Oh.
No, I'm not sure who this is. Oh, Paul Hale.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know if we're in the right place. We're trying to find the people for the committee to clean up the town of Hubbardston.
That's in the senior center.
Okay, there was nobody over there yet.
My wife should be there. It starts at 7.
Okay, is that something that we can cut
Yeah,
through
you
here?
can go through.
Sure.
Thank you.
No
Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
No worries.
Good, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Hale, how are you, my young friend?
Good to see you.
You look like $1,000,000. You putting on
Oh.
weight?
No, I'm losing weight.
Oh, I am.
I'm losing height.
Yeah, I noticed that. You do look shorter.
I can still run fast though, so don't.
Faster than me, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, the personal protection, yeah, right.
Good for you.
Alright,
Nice to see
so
you.
we have no one for here for you, no one Hubbardson COA, Senior Center deck. no fire department for fire truck ambulance, no one here for EDC signs. Alright, so we've
I
gone
will
through
say
our
the
list.
fire department has a 4-alarm fire going on in Gardner right now.
I suppose
So I
that's
will
okay.
give them that. Or they did. I don't know if they're still there, but.
Are they calling in?
Could be the fire department.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see for a second. Very eventful night. Alright, so that being said, so we have no other applications on here that we can really talk about because we had follow-up questions for people, and with no people, we can't do the follow-up questions. So we'll give KP 1 minute in case there's relevant information that's coming in. But in the meantime, Susan, you had more information from the world of finance that you wanted to bring to us. Oh,
I do.
was that?
No.
Oh, okay. I tried. I was hoping someone phoned in.
That was his bookie.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Susan has more information from finance she wanted to bring back to the table relative to projects.
Relative to our fire department asks, I did not ask for a formal vote, I can get one. But it was the sense of the committee that unanimously, that the fire department's, proposals, both of them, be recommended by this committee.
And the basis for that being going back to the 5-year plan?
Going back essentially to the 5-year plan. And, the concept, the notion there, and it's too bad David isn't here, cause I would ask him to repeat what he said at the finance committee, but I will try to do him justice. Is that, the projections going forward can always be massaged to a certain extent based on the current realities for each fiscal year. So you can look to, try to dig yourself out of various holes as they come along. The point of the analysis, the larger point of the analysis is to identify the inherent weaknesses that the town has and try to manage in terms of its budgeting, and try to manage things to the extent you can to compensate for those weaknesses. And one of the obvious big weaknesses is our exposure and budgetary dependence, for lack of a better word, on the school assessment, which is probably, I haven't done the numbers this year, but is probably now more than 60 cents out of every dollar that we spend, and continues to go up. So that's the upshot. So in plain terms, if we have the thinking was, and this is what David meant when he was talking about Ryan wanting to be strategic with the use of this money. Strategic means we won't see this kind of money again. And the idea is, therefore, to try to spend it in a way that maximizes the benefit for the most people, which would ordinarily be a town purchase, and certainly a fire department purchase. A life and safety purchase is one of the highest examples of that type of use. So that's basically it.
So I think one of the things we talked about in the past couple meetings was balancing the importance of the town projects that we have, as well as, the original intent or the flavor of ARPA when it came out, which was to help with the community, help with the small businesses and so forth. I guess
I did not read in the final rule any preference or priority.
Correct, in the final rule. In the original, flavor 1 of the ice cream, the original vanilla, that appears to be the intent. But I guess, and I think part of this, as a select board, we should have been more, in hindsight's always 50-50, right?
2020.
2020.
Okay,
Definitely.
I'm sorry. I like 50-50 today, I'm sorry. Alright, so, anyway, we could have been more purposeful with, what the intent was. The select board still has the final say at the end of the day, so it will it will all work out. But I guess my opinion is this, right? And I'm happy to tune in with everyone else's opinion as well. But I would like to see some of this money go to some of those businesses that have applied and hold off on anything with the fire and ambulance for a number of reasons. Number one, they don't have an, as we discussed, and I think KP had asked, they don't have an imminent need for these purchases. Number two, the funding for ARPA, while it's a one-time hit, it's not something that if we don't spend it tomorrow, it goes away. We have quite a period of time that we can decide if we're going to expend or not expend. Number three, we don't actually know what's going to happen with the school, right? Like, it's such an outlandish number that depending on what the status is of this select board and other select boards, you could actually potentially see a change, and that could affect the entire revenue projection and expense projection for the next 5 years. But I don't feel
no,
like
that won't happen. That won't happen. And the reason it won't happen is because of the way the regional agreement is structured and how those costs are calculated and then assessed going forward.
I guess what I'm saying, Susan, is I'm suggesting that if all select boards got on the same page, it wouldn't matter what the school's assessment was, because the select boards could together push back and say we're not funding at that rate, try again.
That's what will happen this go round in all likelihood, if for no other reasons, because 3 of the 5 towns will vote this current budget down. What I'm saying though is because of the way the calculations are, there is a base number below which the assessment can't go. And the one of the things that finance is going to be figuring out is precisely what that number is, given the current variables that go into the formula that calculate this. So the expectation right now is that the budgeted number that was included in this first round of our budget, what we proposed, wasn't big enough to start with. Because of this, I won't even call it math, it's arithmetic, to figure out what the proper allocation should be. But we're going to, put pen to paper and try and figure this out.
Okay. KP.
I agree with all your comments, Heather. The fire truck and the ambulance, I don't even believe we can fund that with the unallocated ARPA money we have left.
Correct.
I thought we could.
We don't have enough of it, or it's going to be pretty dicey.
I thought it was just under. I will confess I haven't looked at the number to refresh
And I
my
don't know what David
recollection.
said at your meeting, cause I obviously wasn't there, but he keeps alluding to additional funds that are gonna be coming available
Maybe.
here to the
Maybe.
state. No, those are the funds that we have, but he's talking about other resources, total new funding.
That's
that
right.
should be coming down the road.
That's right. There are,
And the state has a $6 billion surplus in its budget right now, so that could even lead to more funding.
one of the questions that FinCom asked about that was whether there is gonna be a state ARPA, in other words. Okay, and the question that I asked was whether similar conditions, or what if any conditions, would apply to those ARPA funds. He didn't know, and he was gonna drill it out, and if I get any free time, maybe I can find out. That's number one. Number two, there is some more money coming down the pike, from the state again, to be dedicated to roads, to the tune of, he thinks about $175,000. So that's unrelated, but also good news, but that money is dedicated to that type of activity, not anything else. So yeah, there is the possibility of other stuff coming down the pike.
So,
Amount's uncertain.
Right.
I should add.
And while I think the fire truck and the ambulance are important projects, I agree with Heather's comments about private enterprises. And even if we fund all the private enterprises, we won't exhaust all the ARPA money. We'll still have a big nut left. So even though we won't have 100% to fund a fire truck and ambulance, we'll have a good size down payment to put on it and defray probably 50% of that cost, I'm thinking.
So would the suggestion then be to, approve some dollar amount towards those purchases with the potential of more to come? Is that what we're thinking, or?
I would suggest that we shouldn't even entertain this discussion until the town has negotiated with the school system, because what we're talking about doing right now is replacing money that we believe is going to I don't know if these words have come out publicly, really a broken administration. They're way off the mark with what other regional school districts are doing. And if we start saying that, well, we're gonna take this money, which is a one-time thing for us, and allocate it to fix these things that are really structural defects that are because of our relationship, I think we're putting the town in a worse negotiating position.
We can't use ARPA funds to pay the school.
No, we can't.
No, but
I'm
we
not-
can, but we can use ARPA funds to pay for a truck that we normally would take out of our normal town budget.
We would borrow. We
Or
would borrow for these
or we
these
would, yeah, but
purchases.
that's still money coming out of our yearly town budget to pay for that truck.
It is, but in terms of the borrowing, the amount is less in the operating budget than the capital purchase would be.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people look at it and go, oh, well, they can afford to buy a new truck, so they can obviously afford to pay for the school, that sort of attitude. As the citizen representative or whatever I'm called on this.
Member at large.
Yeah,
The man.
yeah. I'm all for us having really good fire equipment. It helps my homeowner's insurance. It makes people who have businesses happy, especially
wood
when
businesses.
especially it's a business that's pretty damn flammable.
Yes, yeah, slightly.
Both of you.
Come on.
Yeah, both of you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all for that. I'm extremely disappointed that the application said 500,000 for a new fire truck, 300 and whatever for a new ambulance, with no details, no whatsoever. It was just like, yeah, we'll take that. That bothers me. It doesn't take into account the seriousness of the money being spent. We're talking a lot of money here, and we're talking an awful lot of money from the school. I'm 1,000% in agreement with you on the issue of the school. They are way off base, way off base. So, I would suggest, like KP and Heather said, is we hold off on the fire truck. Also, based on what Chris said, we hold off on the fire truck and the ambulance. If it's that important, there should be someone here to discuss it. Understanding that they may have,
There's a lot of them.
They're busy
yeah,
right now.
but they should have put a little more effort into the application. I think that we should be focusing primarily first on what ARPA was originally intended for, which is to help the small businesses and the things that that matter to the community. And not saying that a fire truck doesn't, but that's a huge expenditure that is normally done through normal day-to-day business, not a, oh look, we have a one-time windfall. So I just don't have a warm, comfortable feeling saying, yeah, let's go drop 800 grand or 900 grand on
Well, that isn't
New
the
equipment.
ask. The ask is more like 500 because they're, because other monies are being used to support the purchase.
So they had resubmitted, or David resubmitted the two applications and divided up the requests.
Right.
See if I have them here.
And let's not forget, the elephant in the room is this dump truck that we're gonna need to replace too, right?
Yeah, but the dump truck's through Maya, the insurance.
Yeah, but the insurance isn't gonna replace the full value of the
Yeah,
dump truck.
It
No way.
will.
No way, I doubt it.
Yeah. So we have Maya insurance. I've never had a problem with them replacing an entire. We had there was a DPW vehicular incident in which one of the vehicles sustained traumatic injury that is not recoverable.
Total.
I didn't say that.
I did.
And that's a question of the cost of the vehicle and so forth, but that will be covered by insurance. I had a fire engine that got smashed up pretty well, and we paid our deductible, and that was it. And it was repaired.
I challenge that. I'll
I-
believe it when I see it.
Well,
I hope you're right. I truly hope you're right. I don't think.
I could be wrong. It's happened.
100%.
So, I guess just in terms of keeping us moving forward on this, to me, it sounds like we need to get more information on what we're currently looking at. Well, we need to get more information from one of the businesses. We're currently holding on the other business because we're pending this conversation. So I think ultimately, what we need to decide as a committee is, do we have anything that is even actually moving potentially towards a vote tonight or a recommendation? Because I don't know that we would be ready to recommend the fire truck tonight anyways. So perhaps this is something where we should ask the select board how they feel about these things from a strategic standpoint. And we should take that under advisement with the conversation we just had now, because I don't know what the plan of the select board is on in terms of how they're gonna address this, what the town's position is going to be, so on and so forth. And I don't think we should do anything as a committee that complicates that, so I think we should just ask them. And have our representatives bring back whatever the select board's opinion on this is.
So, in response to the amounts, so the fire truck, they're asking for $550,000 in addition to their $236,000 matching funds, and $350,000 in addition to $164 matching funds for the ambulance.
Okay. Okay.
So-
I misremembered.
So
Okay.
it's
Yep.
what, $900,000.
Yep.
I guess I do have a question on that.
That number
The
sounds
matching
familiar.
funds, is there any kind of expiration date on those or some kind of?
No,
time
they're
constraint?
they're
That's coming
town's
from us.
money.
Oh, they
That's
are,
the town's
they're town
money.
money. They're not, so they're not some kind of grant or,
No,
okay,
no.
well,
No, that's our
never mind in that case.
chipping in.
It's our
It'd
cash.
be free cash.
So, all right. Yes.
Mike Stahl, 5 Lombard Road. Two comments. I was at the meeting the other night where this was discussed, and I believe a point was made that the fire department is making 2 requests and therefore they should prioritize them. So we know what, between the fire truck and the ambulance, which one is more important to them. I mean, only they can tell us that. And we're requiring a lot of information from the private sector. I think that's pretty reasonable to ask. Can you please prioritize your request? The other item is that fire truck has a certain amount of cost, and I don't know how much that is because of our inadequate facilities for properly housing it. And, you know, we have a bigger issue for our town buildings that is driving that. So keeping that in mind, I think another piece of information they should provide is how much additional cost to that vehicle is required. And then having that information, maybe there's a better way to prioritize our efforts, your efforts, in making maybe some sort of a compromise. Okay, we can pick up the, you know, cost of modifications to the vehicle as an example, or the fire truck is a higher priority than the ambulance. Given that information, I think that would be lead us to maybe a better solution than if we just go with the information that's been provided thus far.
It's pretty reasonable.
Do we have an opening on the committee?
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you.
I would just suggest that it's, if we only fund a portion of the purchase price, the question would then be where the remaining money would come from. And
Debt
it would-
service.
And it would have to come, it could come from debt service, if we're within the the realm where we don't have to go back to the town and ask them. And I think one of the considerations here and one of the reasons for the timing of the purchases of these two items pushed further out is other debt service is coming to a close. So you can stay within the whatever
Your
the-
means.
whatever the limits are before
Mhm.
you have to go to town meeting to
Right.
ask to borrow, and just kind of swap this
Right.
debt out. So the idea then is, yes, that other debt will come to a close, but all but certainly, there will be other needs that the town will have that will,
We
because
can't
nature
use
of,
ARPA money to retire debt, can
of,
we?
no,
Right. Just double
That'd
check.
be
that,
nice.
abhors a
Just
vacuum.
to help, just to help keep it within that.
That's right,
band.
so that's the idea, that's the
Okay.
idea there.
So I think right now we seem to be on par with, holding off on the fire truck ambulance decision. We don't have enough information on it
Right.
anyway. We would need someone to represent what they wanna buy more specifically, what they're looking at, priorities and so forth.
And to your point, if we buy either of these two vehicles,
Where's it going?
do we have the facilities to properly store and maintain those vehicles? I mean, right now we have a vehicle, it's green but says Hubbardston Fire Department on the side, but it sits outside in the rain all day. So,
Well, as explained to us, the fire truck in particular, as Mike was mentioning, is a custom built vehicle that fits in in our excuse for a fire station. That's one of the reasons why it's so expensive. If not the reason, I mean, not that they're cheap, but it is made more costly because of that requirement. I guess it has to be narrower.
Well, I guess that, to me, that's more reason to wait and figure out what we're doing with, the feasibility study and so forth, cause if that project were to move forward, it's just, I guess this is still a down the road request on the capital plan, and I'd say,
But I'm trying to explain what the reason is
I-
for pushing it out. It's because of the borrowing
No,
constraint.
I totally get it, but just, we can't always make decisions based simply on, when does it fit? Sometimes it's not gonna fit, right? We're not always gonna get things to fit in the pie well, and if we ended up waiting like an extra year or two to get the item beyond that and save $300,000 because we didn't have to custom make it 2 feet short, 2 feet less wide, then that makes sense too. I mean, to Mike's point, I hate the idea of buying a piece of property, even the ambulance, I don't know. Are we swapping out ambulances? The first one deteriorating and replacing another one. If we're replacing another one, we replace it before it's actually due, then we're gonna have to replace the next one before it's actually due. And we're gonna open up this cycle of chasing our tail. So I guess my point is simply, I think we're not ready to move anywhere on the ambulance and fire truck tonight. I think we need more information. I don't think we have to rush it, because even if we look at everything, we'll still have money left on the table and be able to come back to the discussion. So that being said, anything else on fire ambulance piece?
Well, yeah, if the legitimate reason is we're buying a more expensive fire truck because it doesn't fit in our door, can we make the door bigger?
I don't think
It's
we
the
can do-
building, it's
too
not the
short.
door.
I don't think we can do anything to that building.
They make them shorter, not.
It's a
Wise.
leased facility.
That's
Right.
what they said last night, but I personally don't know.
Okay,
I'd
yeah,
rather,
I think they
personally,
make
I'd
it
rather see
shorter
the $900,000
because the building isn't
go
long enough.
towards a new facility,
So it'd be sticking out the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
So building
So
the bigger
that's a
door.
Probably
that
a
goes over like a
combination of all
parking
of
church
the
in this
above.
town.
Okay. Alright, so that being said, so we're all done with that topic there. Do we wanna come back? The only one we have enough information to reasonably vote on this evening is the request, for Hubbardston goes green, or Go Green Manufacturing. I'll eventually get it right.
I might just change the name. I like that.
You do a DBA, just change it up.
Exactly, yeah. And if you have no further questions from me, I can leave so you can discuss it.
Oh, you're welcome to stay, Kellyanne.
Okay.
You never know what comes out.
Okay.
Alright, does anyone have any additional questions for Kellyanne?
I do not.
Okay, does anyone, let me rephrase, I would entertain a motion if someone would like to make one and have a specific dollar amount with that.
I have a question before we do that.
Sure.
How do we,
Grant.
well, perhaps it will be handled in the motion. Perhaps the motion, in other words, for the specific purpose for which the money is being given. In other words, $90,000 or whatever the precise amount is here, to purchase the listed items.
So I think we have to, and
How does, because I don't think we've done that necessarily with respect to some of the other,
no, when we did
approvals that
Lions
we've
Club
made.
last week, we simply did it as a grant.
that's right.
And I think, David didn't seem to have any objections to that, so I mean, that's one option, we could do it just as a,
Because we were replacing lost income, this is not that.
well, depends on how we wanna look at it, right? So it
Well,
looks like Kellyanne has sustained lost revenue based on her profit and loss statements in the amount of approximately 50, I think it was 59,000 or so when I looked at the, 59,349.61 if you're counting pennies for the 2020 year. Or 19 to 2020. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied.
50,781.
Yeah. Sorry, the numbers are similar.
That's all right,
Let me rephrase that. 2021. So there is an amount, quote, of lost revenue.
Right, and that is not what has been asked for, but I would be supportive of that.
Okay. Would you like to be supportive of that and to the tune of a motion, Susan?
I would be supportive in terms of a motion.
I will second that motion.
She hasn't made the
To
motion
do,
yet, Mike.
to that, to what Mike said. To, give a grant to Go Green Manufacturing Inc. in the amount of 50,000, now I'm gonna put my glasses back on.
781.26.
To, reimburse for lost income for the 2021 fiscal year.
Mike, are you still interested
I
in seconding?
shall second that
Oh.
motion.
I wanna ask the question, the original application was for $90,000.
Yes.
Are you amending that original application?
I am not. I will purchase as many trailers as I can with what I am given. I'm hoping to buy a bunch of used trailers, cause as you recall, we, for the most part, leave our trailers at distribution centers and they get abused. If I were to purchase a new trailer, it would not be available until the end of '23, and I would use that specifically for deliveries, live unloads. I wouldn't leave that in a distribution center and take the chance that they would trash it. But, my intent is to purchase as many used trailers as I can, and I'm hoping to stay within the $15,000 to $20,000 range.
Well, then I suggest we fund the original ask, $90,000.
Anyone else have anything else to add on the committee for discussion on this? Alright, so unless, well,
There's a motion on the table.
yes,
Yeah.
let's do the motion. So we have a motion to grant the amount of $50,781.26, and this is a recommendation to grant, cause it's still gotta go to the select board.
That's
For
right.
lost income for the 2021 fiscal year, and a second by Mike. So let's take a vote on that. Susan?
Don't
Oh.
you call that for deliberation before?
We just had
Didn't we
discussion on that.
Didn't we just do that?
and I asked if there's any more discussion. Would you like to add discussion, Christopher?
No, I guess not.
All right then, so we still have,
So how does my
Well,
suggestion get
so we have to,
Yeah.
considered?
so
We have
unless
to
Susan
address-
wants to
We're
amend her
voting.
motion, we have a motion on the table, so we can
I'm not.
vote on the motion. And then if the motion passes, that's where we go. If the motion fails, we can go back and we can have a
Well,
second
amend
shot,
it.
someone else can
Should-
make a motion. Yes, Christopher,
I'm sorry, it's been another day, but,
okay,
aren't we supposed to do, aren't we supposed to discuss the motion after the motion is made and then seconded?
we did,
We did.
Okay.
Twice.
we just,
Well,
we're going on the third
did-
time. So, Susan made a motion, Mike
Well-
seconded.
well, because
KP
to-
added in the piece about the 90,000, he then followed up with a question to Kellyanne relative to whether she was amending her application, she responded in the negative. He then asked what the funds were gonna be spent for, she explained about the trailers, however many trailers she could get with whatever she had, including up into 2023. At that point, I then asked if there was any further discussion, the answer was no.
So,
Susan was asked if she'd like to amend her motion, she was negative to that. So is there additional discussion you would like to add on this topic,
yes,
Christopher?
so then are you suggesting how we're gonna approach this, procedurally would be, if that motion, did carry and it did pass, that would be the end of the conversation, or would you be looking to have another motion about a supplemental amount? Because I have some of the same concerns that, that KP has. It wouldn't stop me from voting in the affirmative on this motion, but it still seems like procedurally we have a hanging chad.
Okay, so,
I have the same question.
I think that's all right.
so we can always
Well-
entertain number of emotions.
Yeah.
Susan was asked if she wanted to amend her motion, she said no. So now we have a motion and a second on the table. We have to do the follow through with the motion. So if we vote in the affirmative, then at the minimum, the amount of 50,781.26 is the recommendation that goes to the select board. If an additional motion was made at that point or a second motion, that's fine. If this first motion fails, and instead someone would like to make an additional motion for a larger amount, all in all, that's fine as well. But we still have to call the question.
Okay.
Cool?
What's the
I'm with you.
delta between the 90,000 and the motion that's on the table?
49,003 328.74.
Not even close.
No,
That's not the correct number.
Not even
But it's
close.
not the 90. She asked for 90,000.
minus,
Minus 5781.26.
What did I come up with?
A different number.
10,000 too much.
Yeah.
Ten mil- well, hey, she's had a few too much.
The difference is 39,218.74.
That sounds good.
What was it?
39,218.74 cents.
Okay, so I was 10,000 off, but the rest of the numbers were right, so I get like 50% credit.
yeah,
for
you get
doing
no
that.
credit, you get
Zero
zero.
Yeah, no.
I did it in my
That's the
brain.
math, you get zero.
You
Must
didn't
be
get
on
a
a
C
new
for
math.
effort on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Madam
So,
Chair.
so now,
Did you show your work?
no.
Then you get
Good
nothing.
thing,
Yeah.
good thing.
Really?
Oh, and you have to use
Sadder.
the math our kids have learned,
Yeah,
not
no,
the math
yeah.
you
No.
learned.
No. I don't have an advocate. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any more discussion that anyone needs information on before we move forward with our current motion? All right, so one more time, we have a motion from Susan to recommend to the select board to grant Go Green Manufacturing Inc. in the amount of 50,781.26 for lost income 2021 fiscal year, and we have a second from Mike. I'm gonna do roll call vote. Susan.
Yes,
Okay, Mike.
Yes.
KP.
Yes.
Heather, yes. And Christopher.
Yes.
Okay. So that passes. So 50,781.26 lost revenue recommendation to the select board. Okay. Are there any additional motions that anyone would like to add? I will entertain them now.
Christopher?
Yeah. I'll make a motion
All right, KP, what do you got?
to grant $39,218.74 to Go Green Manufacturing to make the $90,000 on the original ARPA request form.
Okay, to cover the difference.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
I would
Discussion.
like to propose to have the motion amended to speak to the purchase of the, items referred to in the proposal.
So just to clarify, so that would be a distinction between the first item is 50,000 as whatever you need it for, and the
That's
second
right.
1,000 specific purpose of.
Is for the purchase of these things, of
Okay.
these, of the trailers, and you probably need a second for that.
Okay, yes, is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay, or, let's see here.
I've already seconded
Before we do that, I'm
KP's.
sorry, KP, will you accept that as a friendly amendment?
I'd like clarification from the applicant, if they would like that as a friendly amendment.
Kellyanne, you understand, have you followed us?
I think so.
Okay.
I may have to watch the reruns when I get home. I believe, the first amount would be a grant, and the additional amount would be specifically to purchase trailers, is that what you're saying?
That's the way I understand it.
Correct.
Yeah, the first
that
amount
was
would be a
amended.
grant to offset lost income.
So you do whatever you need to do with that.
You can spend it any way you
Yeah.
want.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And-
The other is,
the others-
is only,
Specifically for
you have to buy
trailers.
trailers with it.
Yep, oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I will definitely do that, yes,
Right.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay, yes,
$39,218.74 worth of trailers.
I
and not a penny
put
more.
it to good use.
Do you accept that amendment?
I
KP?
accept the amendment.
Alright, so on the table, round 2, Go Green Manufacturing, recommendation to the select board to grant, Go Green Manufacturing to, for the specific purpose of the application proposals to purchase trailers in the amount of $39,218.74, made by KP, seconded by Mike, roll call, or any more discussion?
I just have one question. Where in the matrix did this fall for ranking?
It was a 40, third from the top, so third from the,
I would
lower
make the
source.
observation that we've abandoned the matrix.
Well, we haven't, because we've been reviewing them in the order, and there have been ones that we've chosen, that based upon discovering other information or the consensus of the committee we've walked away from, but we've taken the discussion of them in order. And I guess the reason I asked the question is I just wanted to look and make sure that there wasn't anything that we were, other than the fire truck, which we all actually voted, well, the committee had voted no on at the time, which has come back as a held issue, with the exception of that one. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything else that was a held issue that was originally ordered higher, but then again, with the amount that we have left, that wouldn't create an issue yet, but I guess I just want us to stay aware of that, and I needed to think through that out loud. So, yeah, in the 40s, that works for me.
I don't know where the plug
What
is.
is happening?
It's in
The battery's yelling at me,
Oh,
and we're on Zoom, so if I let the battery yell,
is anybody on with us?
no,
It's
but you
the
know, my
record for the
luck is
meeting.
someone will tune in
Oh,
the
it's-
moment
oh,
that
it's-
I,
Although the camera lights went back on.
Oh,
and it is
They're off for a
recording,
while.
so just
Oh,
in
okay.
case they need it.
oh, I see, okay.
Alright, crisis averted. Alright, any further discussion?
Oh.
Alright, excellent, roll call vote, Susan,
Yes,
Mike,
Yes.
KP,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Heather, yes. Alright, so it will get recommended to the select board in
Thank
those
you
two
very much.
amounts, stay tuned.
Okay, I will definitely do that, thank you.
Alright,
Don't
thanks
start
Kelly.
writing the checks just yet.
I know, right? No, I
Alright,
have to, still looking, I got an auction coming up that I wanna check out the trailers on in May, so.
I have a question
Mhm.
for you, unrelated to any of this. Would you like to come by and pick up 7 pallets for
Oh,
me?
yeah, I can do that.
They're in what do I know about pallets? Nothing.
Yep.
They're in really good shape.
Yeah, okay. Did you
Alright.
get wood pellets? Is that- Yes.
Yes, they're wood pallets
That's a
from
number one.
Hardwood,
Yep.
Hardwood Co-op.
Yeah,
And
those are really
otherwise
nice
they're going in the
pellets.
fire pit,
Yep,
so.
no, I'll take those for sure, thank you.
Okay, you want me to
Yep.
give you a call?
Yeah, that would be
Alright,
great,
I'll
yep,
do that.
yep, email me or give me a buzz, and I'll make those arrangements then.
That'd be great. Thanks.
All right,
Thank
now we're
you.
gonna go
I'm
back-
not far.
We're gonna go back to the rest of our meeting now.
If we must.
So, let's
need
see,
to
any
get my
additional
guards on.
recommended project lists with amounts to send to the select board, so we're sending 2 additional projects, both from, Go Green Manufacturing Inc. One is a plain flat out grant in the amount of $50,781.26, and one is a grant for the purposes of purchasing, trucks in the amount of $39,218.74. Our next meeting date, so it's been real and we're having lots of fun. Do we wanna meet again next week or do we wanna wait a week in between this time? Although do note that the next select board meeting is the 11th.
I can meet whenever.
You just better come.
I'll be there, yeah.
Talk to me in dates, what is it? The 11th is the next select board meeting.
11th's the next select board meeting.
What's next week? Is that a Monday? It's gonna be a Monday, right?
Next week is a Monday, next week's the 4th, so the 11th's in 2 weeks.
A week from Monday.
I've lost track of what Wednesday we're on, so I can't help you on that, sorry.
This is a Tuesday, so you're in trouble.
Yeah.
No, I know, but KP is only available on certain
open-
Wednesdays,
I'm
so I
open.
try to follow the right Wednesday.
Wednesday I have a FinCom meeting,
Okay.
so I can meet with you on Thursday.
We'd have to meet next week.
I can do Thursday.
I can do Thursday.
Next Thursday's the 7th, I cannot do.
Okay.
I can do the 7th.
No, you can't, you have a planning board meeting.
Oh, why isn't that on the calendar?
I don't know, but it's on the household calendar. You should look at that. Just saying.
I can do the 8th.
8th is a Friday?
Yep.
I don't like Fridays,
Yeah,
Susan.
me neither.
I don't even think we can get into
We
the
could-
building
we could
on
have
Friday, can
cocktails.
We could do it offsite, we could also do it out in the parking lot, that could be real.
That's right.
We can't
We
even
can
get into the building
tailgate.
on a Friday, can we?
I don't know who would let us, I don't know who lets us in now, I don't
They
have
just
enough
leave it open
information.
after the workday. Seriously.
We can get in the building whenever we need to.
What about next Tuesday?
I mean,
I can't do Tuesday.
Okay, next Monday? The 4th?
I can do Monday.
what if,
I would really like it at our next meeting, we
I
have representatives
Yeah,
from the fire
I-
department.
should-
Yeah,
I think
and
we
that's
should
the other
line
thing.
that- all
Can
of
you be
that up
ready on
first
Monday? I
before
mean, I
we-
don't wanna jam, the purpose of having these meetings
Okay,
is
honestly,
to,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't usually do my own taxes, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna file this weekend. I
Right.
don't. Am I gonna have a profit and loss sheet by
Right,
that?
probably
I,
not.
you know, and that's my only thing.
So
And
then maybe
well,
we just,
You'll
maybe
have a
we just
profit-
don't
you'll
have
have a
anything
profit
ready
and
for the
loss on your
11th,
Schedule
maybe we
C.
try to
Go-
shoot for
Okay.
the
That's
second
what I
meeting
do.
of
I
the
don't do
month.
them. I don't know.
No, I know you don't, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
if we
okay.
really need to hear from a fire department representative,
I think,
that's
yeah,
not
I think
happening
we should
next week.
schedule this
Right.
around when the
We-
fire department is available.
I can.
Well, we can do that, but also, I mean, again, I'm not personally in any rush to approve a fire and an ambulance, cause they're not going anywhere. They're not burning down.
Right.
Currently, so we have time, I mean, we have the money in the budget and time. I would like to finish hearing from the small groups. If we can make that work. Do we wanna shoot for 2 weeks out then, and hopefully there'll
I'm
be
sorry,
enough
I
time?
don't know your name, what is it?
Julie.
Julie, so Julie said she's gonna need time to get the numbers we've
Yep.
asked her to get. Monday isn't realistic for her.
Okay.
You know, on the flip side of that, I hate to make you wait any longer than you absolutely have to.
No,
but,
I'm again. I mean, I feel bad that I've
Yeah.
been busy and taken this one too. So.
You know, and then when we were at our select board meeting last time, there was a gentleman in the audience there who said he was on a committee that might be even submitting an application forthcoming, you know, so.
But not till July, cause I think that's
Right.
when David said the next, we had originally agreed the next round.
So realistically, what would we gain by jamming in
I agree,
an ARPA meeting before the 11th on the select board meeting?
that's a good point. So the question is, do we wanna try to meet the week of the 11th or the off week of the select board? Cause at this point, we're just trying to line up with, I mean.
Right.
There's no need to rush through this unless we have a select board meeting.
I can meet the week of the 11th, but I cannot meet the week of the 18th. I will be somewhere in the Caribbean.
Oh, you poor,
Yeah.
poor thing.
But I can
Meet
meet
there.
Yeah.
some day of the week on the week of the 25th.
So let's do the week of the 11th.
I cannot do Monday.
Well, that's good, cause neither can Chris, KP or I, since that's a select board
Is
meeting.
Wednesday what Wednesday of the month is that?
13th.
Is it the second?
See, I knew it was about Wednesdays,
I can't do that Wednesday.
okay?
I don't think I can if it's the second Wednesday
Yeah,
of the
it
month.
is the second, the
would be,
13th is the,
yeah.
And
How about Thursday?
I can't do Thursday.
What Tuesday?
And we negotiate.
I can do Tuesday.
I can do Tuesday.
I can do Tuesday.
Tuesday the 12th,
Yes.
I believe I can do Tuesday the 12th. Okay, Chris,
I can probably find a way to make it work.
I know you don't like doing Tuesdays, but other days are occupied. Alright, so Tuesday the 12th, we'll do 6:30. I will send an email to David no later than tomorrow and ask him to specifically even call the last applicant so we can get those folks in.
Yeah, I mean,
And then confirm, because
Unfortunately-
if no one confirms that they're coming, then we don't need to hold a meeting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, there's homework that needs to happen between
Right.
now and then, whether it's David or the chair. We need to make sure those people are coming and not have that meeting if we're gonna be missing half of them.
Fair. Alright, so we're all set on the next meeting date, so we're good. Nope, what month will it be in? April the 12th at 6:30. Am I crossing out any, is that like, no, that's a Tuesday, that's not EDC,
No,
right?
EDC is the third Wednesday.
Okay. Alright, let's see, matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair, I have nothing, anyone else?
Nope.
No.
yes.
Yes,
Have we gotten any additional applications for ARPA?
not that I'm aware of.
Is the application portal open and still?
I think it's available for
Accessible
people
and-
to grab an application. I think, people are probably paying attention to the, we would do another round, I think we said July. If we had funds left. So if they do pull it, they might be waiting and see what we have left for funds.
Are people even under the impression that they still can unless they've been watching these meetings?
Well, I know, a couple times when we've had discussions, even at select board, different ideas have come up for people to consider applying for some funds, including what we did, what was the cable access was asking.
Is that what it was at the
Yeah.
meeting?
Well, I think we need to make sure that we have a published process in order to keep it fair and equitable. So I would suggest that anything that comes in after what we publish as the deadline gets kicked to the second round, assuming that there is, and we need to be very upfront about what the second deadline is.
Well, I think we currently published it as like July 1st, if I recall correct.
Is that the deadline that we have out?
I think it
Currently?
is. I think it is. We can certainly double check that.
Yeah.
Do we want to, keep the same application?
Well, we've
or
learned
have-
we've
or have
learned
we
a
learned-
lot.
Or have we learned anything and want to make some changes?
Well, why don't I add on the next agenda discussion about potential changes to application process?
Sure.
And then people can opine, and if we need to change it, then we change it, get it published, including a date, and start to figure out, if we're gonna have funds left over. Yes, KP?
So, just to clarify, are you saying that the first round of applications is closed and pending on how the committee decides and the select board approves on these current applications, we could exhaust all the funds? Therefore, someone who wants to apply for something tomorrow, it could be a complete waste of time if the funds are gone by the time you said the second round of applications would be due?
Well, we said there would be a second round if there was any available money.
I think the purpose of, so I think what we're hoping to do, KP, is at the next meeting, have some more discussion on these outstanding items and figure out, if there are going to be funds still available, and also if any more money's coming in from the state yet. But in the thought that there is potentially more money coming in, or there will be funds available, I figured we'd entertain a discussion about potential changes to the application, cause if there are, but yes, going back to your initial question, yes, I think our intent is that the application process was currently closed, cause we had a very clear deadline.
Okay.
That has come, and it has gone, and if people would like an opportunity the second time, you know, this is where I think Susan's saying, you know, if there are funds, let's look at the application, what do we like, what do we not like, what changes should we make? Now that we've learned a thing or two about round one.
And with that being said, we have enough applications currently from this first round to exhaust the entirety
than.
of the ARPA funds we have available.
If we were to approve everything, yes.
Yeah, the total was 1.9, if it was.
Something
everything
like
was
that,
written.
yes.
Right.
1.8, 1.9, and we only have 1.4.
Right.
So, alright, anything else under not anticipated by the chair? Alright, hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, excellent. And we're adjourned at, I have no idea. 7:39.